I want to talk about Black Hallows.
Okay.
Yes.
Ben, it's on Kickstarter.
hmm
What can you tell us about it?
So yeah, Black Hallows and their Townsfolk range is you'll be looking at a preview of the Kickstarter page right now potentially, but this is going to be live when this show comes out, and this is from Z1 Designs, and this is a new range of 28 and 32 millimeter Townsfolk for you to use in your skirmish games, your role playing games, and stuff like that. They're going to be releasing them all in pewter, which is really cool, and as I say, they've got the varying scales in there. They'll be doing a whole range of different NPC characters, so you've got people like the Tavern Keep, you've got the town criers, you've got entertainers, you've got those people that hang out in the pub, you've got the barmaid, you've got butchers, you've got blacksmiths, you've got all sorts of different models. You will remember that we may have looked at this in a previous weekender when we showed off some of one of their other Kickstarters, which was for a range of dice trays. The other really cool thing about this is that they're also going to be providing a whole range of these in resin in 75 millimeters. So if you want to get yourself one of the larger miniatures, you can do that and you can check it out. The cool thing about this as well is that Black Hallows isn't just going to be this one Kickstarter here you see for these NPCs. They're also going to be working towards something in the future for a range of heroes as well. And of course, there's going to be a game world based around this too, which is really neat. One of the characters, one of the heroes, has already been shown off, and it's Melisandre Moonwatcher, which is a really cool character. And you will have seen her in the start, and she's dressed in the green robes and stuff as well. So that's a very cool character that's been coming up for this. I really like this range. When I first saw these back when they were doing their old Kickstarter and saw the blacksmiths for the first time, thought the look of these was fantastic. They had that kind of almost Fable-esque sort of heroic proportion to them, which I really like.
Very much.
And
so.
I think these would be a fantastic pickup for someone like a dungeon master who really wants to populate their tabletops with some really nice miniatures. And of course, with the new game coming out in the future as well, this skirmish game, you've got some nice things to look forward to as well there. So yeah, so a really nice range of NPCs for people to go and pick up. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with that.
Cool.
I think those townsfolk are interesting. They all very much are on the kind of the characters that you would expect. Though there's no. I mean, the men are heroic, the women are beautiful, the hags are hags.
Yeah, they're very much working with fantasy staples and stereotypes.
Yeah. There's and I wonder is there much of a demand even for your more normal kind of town folk, and what way would you even use it in a game? This is something. It's something we'll be talking again about on backstage in the near future. You know, we've talked about kind of like civilians and things like that in games in the past, and I'd like to revisit that with the likes of townfolk and the kind of collateral damage and things like that within games. Yeah, especially looking at it now outside of historical games, because we have talked about the use of them in historical games. Some historical games use them to great effect, where you are heavily penalized for any negative interaction with the likes of civilians. But I would like to see that kind of thing explored within sci-fi and fantasy, especially in fantasy. I think it would be very interesting.
For a role-playing game, that comes down to your DM.
No. I want us a tabletop war game. Like, for example, let's take Age of Sigmar. Okay.
All right.
So on Age of Sigmar, we have Stormcast Eternals and the Blanket guys. What do you call the Blanket guys again?
The Nighthawks.
The Nighthawks. That's the ones. Yeah.
Also, Jinx.
That's the ones. No. I want to do. We have both those sets now painted up. Okay.
Yep.
People are crying out for a let's play.
Yeah.
I want to see a let's play.
I want to see a let's play.
When we get the boot camp and stuff over us, I want to do a beautiful graveyard kind of church kind of worship table. Okay. And what I want to do is a Sunday lunchtime battle.
Okay.
Right. Now, Justin, I see you thinking there, but I eat my dinner at Sunday lunchtime. I don't mean that we're going to play it at Sunday lunchtime. I mean the battle will be set at Sunday lunchtime.
But we do get lunch, right?
So all the civilians will be coming out of the church.
Right.
And you'll have the Stormcast Eternals in there.
Yeah.
And the demony blanket guys from hell coming out there.
Right.
And then fighting. Okay.
Yeah.
But they'll have different things. Okay. So the Stormcast Eternals will want to maybe try and protect the congregation. Okay. Whereas the demony guys, for everybody that they touch, they maybe turn them into a kind of like a ghosty.
You
kind of
could
a
run
guy
it
or
as
something.
perhaps a moving objective game
yeah.
where the civilians are running towards the Stormcast Eternals, trying to get off the opposite side of the board.
Obviously,
Which
that's a fairly crappy narrative I've come up with there, if I'm being
yeah.
honest. But you
We
get
can-
the
we can
point.
work
you
with
know,
it,
it's,
and
you could have the panicked crowd sort of scenario.
Yeah. Crowds, I think, are especially important for fantasy when they're drawing on the old classics of the genre during the 80s and some in the early 2000s. You had a lot of the chosen one narrative of the young farm boy,
yes,
and you would meet these colorful cast of side characters in the village itself. I'm thinking of the Belgariad and Aragon later, stuff like that, where you did have these villager characters. Aragon especially made them come into play later in the narrative.
Yeah, but does that not make them become less villager characters, more into villager becomes hero character?
There you have a way that they can develop. You could start off with that villager.
But I would personally just have them as a faceless mob that can either get in your way, has its own objective, and will interplay with the two armies.
You could potentially start to pull like a Gangs of Rome mechanic there, where you incite the mob,
Possibly.
you know, which I think would be fascinating as well. You know, but I also really am interested, Sam, in some sort of randomized card mechanic where, you know, at some point a unit could go and maybe interrogate a villager and get some local knowledge or something like that. You would draw from a deck.
That's kind of
and that
cool.
way your villagers become more than just a kind of like a sheep kind of thing. They have a little bit of a non-player character aspect to them.
Do you know what has a good mechanic for this, funnily enough? Stuffed fables.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on Stuffed Fables, you open the book, there'd be a little marker on the mat showing that if you go here, there's a point of interest, there's a character you can interact with, and it would have a deck beside. And you draw that randomly, and it tells you who you've met and the choice you can make.
Yeah.
Like the Let's Play we filmed. Were you in that one?
No, I wasn't in that one.
Of course, I went over, I interacted with a part of the map, drew the card to see who I've met, and I've met a leprechaun toy. So, of course, which was, of course, written in a terrible Irish accent.
Of course.
So the one English accent in the group had to do the terrible Irish accent.
To be sure.
Yeah.
If you want another game that does that very well, Joan of Arc Time of Legends, because it basically gives you the scenario of what happens when you meet them. Two options as to how you deal with the person. So deal with them in a positive way, deal with them in a more aggressive way. Then you flip the card and that tells you which of the two reactions you get.
Yeah. Awesome. Right. If you've got ideas for how you would use village folk and stuff like that within your fantasy games, do post them below because we'd love to steal those ideas and talk about them in the next show.